Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new edition of the Triple Trio, our weekly look at all things Hong Kong racing with the best form analyst in the business in Clint Hutchison and the Hall of Famer in Shane Dye, and a very, very special guest in Gun Australian Group 1 jockey in Damian Lane. Welcome, Frosty. Great to see you. Yep. Hutch, you brought in the big guns today.
Yeah, well, very thankful to have Damon across, and you must be looking forward to next week.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me, guys. Very much looking forward to getting over to Hong Kong.
And good luck, because RS Dye is up and about. Good morning, Shane. How are you?
Hello, Richo. I see we had to accommodate for you again, starting early, because you've got another lunch to do where you're getting paid probably thousands of dollars.
Good to see you, mate. You're looking forward to what could be an unbelievable week next week.
I can't wait for it. It's going to be fantastic. There's two meetings, International Day and Derby Day, so looking forward to it.
It should be fantastic. And, of course, last week, any of those that were watching our show and, of course, subscribing to Hutchie's Honkers had a wonderful weekend. Check it out.
Yeah, one horse can definitely go better if they go along in the race, and he's going to be big odds, and that's Find My Love.
With 100 to go, he's 2 on Dancing Code. Find My Love and Beauty Live all there for Miners. Money's right, he wins again. Drombeg Benner beat Find My Love. Acker Power charging at him with Daily Trophy. Acker Power's the one. Acker Power, too good. Fun Together's off and gone here. He's 3 over Celtic Times, and then came Beato, but Jerry Chow, he's pinched it from the front.
And we have received a little bit of social media love for Shane for that, $8 place getter as well.
Find My Love. He's been all over that horse this season. So, but more interestingly, have a look at the hair here, Frosty. Well, what do you reckon about the mullet? 8 out of 10? 9 out of 10?
There's a bit going on there, isn't there?
Shane, how do we summarise that era in your life?
Well, when you sent it through to me, I actually showed it to a girl I was with who's very young, and we were out having dinner, and I said, look at this, they've just sent me this. And she looked at the photo because she didn't know what I did before. She only knows me as Shane now. Had no idea I rode horses or anything. She still doesn't. And she said, is that you when you were younger? I go, yeah. And she said, thank Christ I've met you now and not when you were younger. I said, why? She said, look at your hair and your face. She said, you've improved 100 yards. Yeah. I said, oh, great, thanks.
Just what he wanted to hear.
Exactly what he wanted to hear. We've got a massive show coming up. We're going to burst out of the gates at the moment and look at all the things that have been happening in racing. We'll also grab Frosty, Damian Lane, and ask him about all of his Hong Kong International Week rides. That's going to be a wonderful day, and he's, of course, got a lot of influence on the Japanese horses. Huge show. Well, I'll find you a stack of winners on Sunday. But first, let's burst out of the gates. Well, we burst out of the gates first by reflecting on the Japan Cup. And, Frosty, how good is this horse, Equinox? I was trying to think about, have you raced against him at all, Equinox?
Yeah, I have.
In Dubai?
I rode against him in Dubai. It was probably the most involved I've been. I rode Win Marilyn on that day, and I was fifth defence, and he led up that race, and he started to just increase the tempo slightly every furlong from a good 1,400 metres out. And I remember getting to like the 1,000 metre mark, and Win Marilyn was off the bridle, and she was starting to struggle, and I was like, come on, girl, we've still got like nearly 800 metres to go. And she's a Group 1 winner. She's no slouch. And I was just gone, 600 metres out. I was a beaten horse. She managed to run 5th, but beaten a long way. It was just an incredible performance that night, how he just sustained such a strong gallop for so long.
And we saw it in that Japan Cup. I mean, that was unbelievable victory. He's now been retired. He's going to go down as an all-time great. We don't know how good he could have been. Some are saying now he's better than Deep Impact. He might have been the best Japanese horse we've seen.
Well, he'd be the best. I mean, you've been going over in recent years, Damon. He'd be the best they've had there in recent, say, the last decade or two, wouldn't he?
Well, yeah, I think he's the most impressive horse I've seen since I've been going there anyway. It's just a shame he retires at the end of his 4-year-old year, because next year he probably could have proven that he might have been better than Deep Impact. I don't know. Yeah, it's
a big call, isn't it?
It's a big call, but he's been a superstar, yeah.
You talk about the emotion of winning a Japan Cup, and we saw that play out. I mean, Equinox was something out of the box. We know how much it means to everyone. What a jockey Christophe Patrice Lemount is, and look at the reaction of everyone involved. I mean, the pressure, Shane, would have been incredible building up to this race because they were determined to make sure that he showcased his brilliance on the biggest stage.
Oh, definitely, but they would have known going into that race, even though they didn't say before the race that was his last run.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of pressure on you because, you know, he's got to win. I experienced that with Octagonal. I was going 5 Group 1 straight on him with his last run, and he was odds on. He got beat in the Queen Elizabeth. He had every chance. Intergaze beat him fair and square, who was a 3-year-old. But there was a lot of pressure that day on him to win. The crowd was enormous, and I felt it. But what a horse, you know. You don't get horses like that who quicken off fast-run races. And I did a story for RaceNet the day before the race, or on last Friday, and I said, I've never seen a horse who can race on pace in a very fast-run race, and then he just puts 4 or 5 lengths on them in 2 strides whenever Christophe wants them to. Horses can't do that. They can pick up from back in a fast-run race, but not when they're on pace.
And when Penthelas is in the race, you know how it's going to be played out. Except,
crazy fast.
Did he not do that at the Hong Kong? That was the only race he hasn't taken off and led by about 20.
Yeah, well, the thing was, he ran in the Tenno Show Autumn last year and set up that massive break when Equinox only ran him down by a head or so.
Yeah.
And in terms of Japanese horses, the Hong Kong Cup was a very quick backup, and I'd say he was spent.
Yeah.
You see him trying to ride him out the barriers early, and he was just like, I left it all on the track at Tokyo 3 weeks ago. So I just want to mention also on that bit of footage we've seen of Equinox coming back to scale. It's been well mentioned how Christophe got emotional and he's such a cool, calm customer. But Tetsuya Kimura, the trainer, he is as calm and as reserved as they've come. And to see him on the right there, on the left of Equinox, putting his head down into the serviette or tissue, whatever he's got there, is quite incredible. It actually makes me feel a little bit emotional watching him like that, because you never really get much out of him, so you can really see what that meant to everyone.
I can see also how much it means to you, Japanese racing. I mean, you're in a unique situation. You've gone over there and you've conquered it. I mean, it looks like you're keen to go back there and you've got such respect for them.
Yeah, I think you have to when you see horses like Equinox, you see jockeys like Christophe, the trainer there, Tetsuya Kimura. They're the best of the best, and of course it fuels the fire in your belly to want to get back there and compete.
And you've had a lot of success there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've had really good success there in the time I've been going there. So yeah, look forward to getting back.
One quick question to you boys: there's a race. Who do you pick? Equinox, Flight Line, or Frankel over 2,000 metres on natural ground, natural country? Who wins?
Gosh,
I'd say Equinox, because I thought that Frankel was a better miler myself, and you know, over the 2,000 he beat Ceres de Zeg, who was okay, but for me, I know he won over 2,000, but I thought he was a better miler.
I suppose you can only go on what you've actually seen in the flesh, and I was privileged to be there when Frankel won the Queen Anne and just hacked up by 10, and I said at the time, I've never seen a better horse in the flesh, with due respect to Winks and Black Caviar. I thought he was the greatest I'd seen in the flesh. How would you line those 3 up that he's just given us?
Oh, I guess the same as you. I probably lean towards the bias of the horse I've seen in the flesh, because he was so impressive that I'd lean towards Equinox, just because it's probably the same bias that what you've leaned to.
Yeah, because you actually raced against one of them, and you actually went, oh, okay, bye-bye, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Off and gone.
A good race.
A little Shane like J-Mac when he was riding Hartnell against Winks in a Cox Plate, and J-Mac was up next to Huey, ready to go, and then Huey went, bye-bye, mate. J-Mac went,
well, she was just in another class to those horses in Australia when she was racing. Yeah,
she certainly was. So, that's our look at the Japan Cup. A couple of hot trainers in Hong Kong we should look at, and Douglas White and Pierre Ong are 2 of those.
Yeah, I think in the last couple of years, Douglas has sort of hit his straps. So he's had, solid seasons, don't get me wrong, but he's really finished off the seasons well, and he seems to be going well at the moment. So he's definitely an in-form stable, and Pierre Ong's just shooting the lights out, basically. He's kicked off very strongly. A lot of his horses are holding their form. They're putting multiple wins together. And for a young trainer in his second year, he's going to be, he's going to run in the top 3, I would say, and he could win it.
And James McDonald arrives in Sha Tin, rides a double. Frost, do you have any desire to go over and do more riding in Hong Kong?
I think Japan's probably ruined that for me. I think I have such a good short-term contracts in Japan. Whether one day I might try and make that long-term is another thing that I could think about. But I think Hong Kong would be a long-term project for me because I'd have to probably start at the bottom and work my way up again. Yeah. Whereas Japan, when I go there, I get on such good opportunities straight from the get-go. So probably not would be the answer. But yeah, never rule it out, but probably not at this stage.
I mean, we're watching Andre Adzeni, who had
this horse has won 5 in a row. I give. Yeah, this horse has won 5 in a row, and there was obviously a pattern on the day. On the fence was a great spot to be. And Shane J-Mac won the feature here on Golden Scenery. The inside was better. Not many wanted to be there, but he got a lovely run and rode him really well.
It was a huge leaders track, this. It was unbelievable. I just wanted to back leaders all day. That horse, Find My Love, I didn't back it even though I priced it under Dancing. Dancing Code was $4. It was $40, and I had it shorter than Dancing Code. But when the track was leaders, I couldn't back it, unfortunately. And that's why Drumbag Banner in the race went from, 16s into 6s. Every pro had the outside gate, which is the best gate on a leader, and every pro in the world backed it.
And then also we saw a little celebration by Jerry Chow.
I love this.
This is what it's the theatre of the sport.
This is great. So Sun Pak Fu, back-to-back wins. He'd won the race prior on a nice promising horse. You see he got a bit held up there as How Deep As You Love rallies through. But Shane, he came from back in the field. I know you liked his ride last time. I like the celebration. You have a look at this. He bursts through on the inside. Up he goes. Go you good thing. I mean, you don't see that much colour in Hong Kong. I like the way they come back after race and they give the crowd some high fives and get around it. But I really like to see that from the local lad.
Golden boy.
Olivia Deleuze was the best. He was crazy on them. One day he knocked me down after the winning post. He let go of the reins and was celebrating the horse runs trade, and he got taken in the... So he was unbelievable, Olivia. After the race, Olivia used to go up the top of the straight and let the reins go and then gallop back.
Right.
Put his arms up in the air. And I remember this, Richo. Australia is the opposite and the backward in this. When I went to Hong Kong, Winfred said, when you win a race, you've got to celebrate. Raise your whip, whatever, because we've got to get the crowd involved. It's all about the crowd. Get them involved. But in Australia, you're not allowed to do it. They don't want to see anything like that.
Well, I was glad that he didn't get... I mean, they can sometimes fine you if it's pre-post, but before they usually give... I think they just gave him a warning there, so that was a result. But it made me also think, Richo...
Some great celebrations. Well, can I start with Michael Barcelona? Because this is how you celebrate.
Oh, this is how you nearly... I can't believe he did this. This was in the Derby. I mean, how lucky is he, Shane, that he won the race?
That's how you celebrate.
How about that one, Frosty?
Yeah, I still can't get over it. Every time I watch it, I still can't believe it.
I mean, that's
he was never worried. He was always going to win.
That's when you don't want it. This was obviously Brenton when he won the Oaks. I love this. I worked with his magnificent. That was a brilliant one. I love that one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, have a look bow to the crowd. Have a look at this.
Well, you did mention Olivia Deleuze, so it was hard to choose which one amongst all of his that we were going to go with. That finger pointing, I think Brett Preble used to steal a bit of that one, didn't he?
They hung around each other a bit, Olivia and Brett. So, they might have been taking notes off each other.
But when I think of great celebrators, I think of this man, Damian Lane.
Little fist pump after, there you go.
There we go. Come on, brother.
It's about as leery as I get.
What about you, Golden Boy? What did you used to do?
I didn't even do the fist pump once in my career. Not even once.
What did you do?
That wasn't me.
Nothing.
I used to celebrate after the race coming back. And I'd take my skull cap off and all that. You're not allowed to do it now, but I'd like to see them try and stop me. I'll tell you now. Fancy a steward telling you when you've won a Group 1 race and you've ridden horses all your life, you can't take your skull cap off. I think it's the biggest joke ever.
Yeah.
That's how the crowd... You want to get the crowd involved. And a classic example of that was Octagonal when he won the Mercedes Classic.
Yeah.
And Jack and Bob were coming up the race and grabbed him. I took my skull cap off and I was like this. The crowd, the roar, it was electrifying. Everyone was trying to grab the horse down the race, high five, and it was a great atmosphere. And that's what racing's about, celebration and getting the crowd. Unfortunately, we don't, stewards don't look at it like that, and they do not understand what it can do to racing and how much it can promote racing.
Yeah, safety, safety,
Wilfred
safety.
understands.
Safety, safety, safety in Australia.
There's a balance. They've got to get it right. You can't be too Larry. But yeah,
Well,
I
I
don't know
reckon-
about the Paul Moir one. You can deal me out of that.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
the jockey did that,
It was the exact opposite to Lukey Nolan, who dropped when he dropped the hands on Black Caviar, and he was panicked like hell and just gets over the line, as opposed to Macau Barcelona.
Yeah.
And then Frosty, that was a bit. That's as good as we're going
One of
to. That's as
those.
good as we're going to get. A quick look at the leaderboard, Hutch, from all the trainers and the jocks.
Well, he's stolen a march on them here, Pierre. 27 wins. That's a lot of winners for this stage of the season, and he's getting his horses out there. He's bringing the right ones through. I think Zach would be a little disappointed where he sits in terms of wins. Obviously, Hugh's out. We had Vincent on the sidelines for a long time.
He's had
Harrison's
32 seconds, as
He's
well
had a
as
lot of
his
seconds.
32 wins.
Yeah. Yeah.
And 27 thirds.
But he had he didn't have a winner on Sunday, had one on Wednesday. I mean, he's gonna ride a lot of winners this season, don't get me wrong, but I just think, he sets very lofty standards for himself, so I think he'd be a little bit disappointed, and I'm sure he'll pick up soon enough.
So 59 seconds or thirds out of 198 rides. He has been right there in the mix. He'd be there thinking, well, I've had 32 wins, but arguably I could have had 50 easily.
Exactly. So they'll turn into winners.
Okay, let's pivot and start talking about the international meeting coming up with our special guest, Damian Lane. We look at the International Racing Week in Hong Kong. It starts Wednesday night with the International Jockey Challenge, and then Sunday is going to be superb. And Frosty, you fly in Thursday, ready to launch in and riding some Japanese horses. Tell us about them.
Yeah, it's obviously a great week to be a part of Hong Kong racing. I have 3 rides on Sunday at this stage. I ride Zafiro in the Vase, Roshan Park in the Cup, and the Singapore horse Lims Kosciuszko in the Hong Kong Mile. Okay,
so you're looking for more rides, and is that up to your agent at the moment to find more rides throughout the day?
Yeah, I generally look after myself when I go to Hong Kong,
I'm
happy with the 3 good rides. If something else handy gets offered, then of course I'll take it. But I don't go chasing. I don't go chasing many rides in the other races, just because normally you pick up the horses that other people don't want to ride, and it's a waste of time. So
you couldn't put a call in for our
listen, absolutely, more than happy.
Make some
His
calls.
name speaks for himself.
Oh, does he?
He'll get lots of good rides, I'm sure, on the day.
We'll play some calls.
Well, you rode a winner for John Size last year, didn't you? I think you went on Aramo at one of the meetings you wrote.
I rode a winner for John on Hong Kong Derby Day.
It was one of the ones for Mr. Sue. But we'll switch focus here, Rich. We'll start off with the Vase, because obviously you ride Zafiro in the Vase, and I think we've got a replay of Joe Moreira winning on it as well. What can you tell us about this one?
He's a really handy horse. He's one that's on the up. His form's getting better all the time. This was a Group 2 win. He looks a handy type who is progressive, so they're the sort of horses you want coming into these meetings.
And I would have thought in the Vase, it's basically Japan versus Europe. Is that, I mean, with due respect to the Hong Kong horses, the Vase is the soft race for them. Is that fair, Hutch?
Yeah, I think that, Hong Kong's not competitive in it, so you can kind of, post-Exultan days when he was decent, they generally aren't competitive in it. But Shara obviously has that international rating of about, considerably high as a 5-year-old, Damian, so it looks like it's got the measure at this point in time in terms of performances.
Yeah, he has a score on the board. He won a Japan Derby. He's been placed in a Japan Cup twice. He won a Shima Classic in 2022. He sort of lost his form a little bit after that for his standard. And then last start in the Breeders' Cup meeting, he ran super. He ran a great third there. So it looks like he's back to somewhere near his best. So you'd expect that he's going to be hard to beat. The other one that stands, the other horse that I think could be a genuine winning chance is Laban Still. Joe Moreira will stick with him. He won a 2200 metre Group 2 last start. He beat Sol Oriens, who was one of the best 3-year-olds of the year. He's really untapped, this horse. I think he's 6 starts, 4 wins or something similar like that. He could be the next, he's a genuine Group 1 horse, I think, in the future. And next year he could win multiple Group 1s. He's quite a special horse on the way up. So just whether he's ready to win a race of this nature, but he's a nice horse going places as well. And
we know if it's really firm ground, that's where the Japanese have an advantage. But even with cut in the ground, do they still you still think that's not a concern for them?
I don't think it will be wet enough to affect them in Hong Kong anyway, unless something out of the ordinary happens. Usually this time of year, even if there's some give, it's normally not enough.
Yeah. And of those entrants in the Japanese in that particular, I mean, how do you sort of line them up? It sounds like you've got the 3-year-old colt, your 11 still. You don't think he's got a very bright future, but how do you line them all up? Is there much between them?
I don't think probably like HKIR's obviously got the runs on the board. If I'd picked one out of the three of them, to be honest, probably would have been the 3-year-old, just because we're not really sure where he can get to yet, and he could be on a real steep upward trajectory. And then my bloke is also on the way up, so I think also Geraldine is no slouch either. But that's probably where I'd rate them. Probably Laban Steele, HKIR, my bloke.
Okay, and then we get towards the sprint. So, do you think the Japanese sprinters can really, really test the best of the Hong Kong? You think about, and we've marvelled at Lucky Sweynesse and the like. Here they are, Mad Cool and also Jasper Crone.
I don't think they're up to it. I think even though Lucky Sweynesse is not going as good, probably not at his best of what we've seen him, and the Hong Kong sprinters might not be as strong as they have been in most years, I still don't think this is good enough form. I think I've won a group race on Mad Cool. He's a really honest, tough competitor, but he doesn't have the class. I don't think he's got the class. And Jasper Crone was disappointing last start in the Breeders' Cup meeting.
And Jasper Crone is an interesting element in this race in that he generally likes to go forward, doesn't he? Do they always do that with him? Do they always try and set up
he likes to go forward. He runs along. The trainer likes his horses to go forward as a rule, so you'd expect him to help put some speed into the race.
Because that could be important with Victor, the winner, of course, is in the race. He might not get that easy time, and it might just set up a little bit more for others in the race.
And Hutch and I have been frustrated why there's no Australian sprinters. I mean, this is a rich race. We're calling it the unofficial World Championship. I mean, a horse that like Buenos Noches comes to mind. This would be a perfect race for an Aussie sprinter, wouldn't it?
It would, but unfortunately we have too many races worth too much money. I mean, you see all through the spring, you see those races in Sydney, the shorts, the Premier, the Everest, the Giga Kick, and then we have the William Reid, the Moy, the Champion Sprint, all these races that are worth crazy money. You've got to basically say, we're going to skip those races because you can't race all spring, then expect to be able to be at your best in Hong Kong. So you've got to leave your horse to the later part of the spring, and you've got to sacrifice running for that sort of money to run here. So you can see why it's not at the forefront of the Australian trainers' mind in the sprinting.
But it's harder to win a lot of these races. I mean, I know you've mentioned Buenos Noches. The other one, like an In Secret, I mean, a filly. Godolphin love to travel their horses. I mean, she's another one, and she's been great in multiple races. Her run in the Everest was enormous.
Yeah.
I think there's, particularly probably as well for those colts, like the 3 or 4 year old colt that you're looking to get that Group 1 with. I don't know. I don't think there's the depth there. I know it's not easy to go and win, but if you target the race, I think you can do it.
I know. I think it looks so good on your pedigree and also on your page as a future stallion. Hey, Shane, how do you see the Japanese sprinters measuring up against the best of the Hong Kong?
I think that Damian summed it up very well. You're better off talking to him. He's seen them. He knows them better than I do. That is not my forte, Richo. Naturally, we had one come from Japan about 3 years ago, Damian, which Ryan Moore won on. Or was that 2 years ago?
Who was that?
Yeah, it might have been 3. Danon Smash.
Danon Smash,
yeah. So, and of course, one of the best sprinters I've ever seen was Lord
Kanaloa.
Yeah.
Kanaloa. He was amazing Japanese sprinter. Probably just before your time, wasn't he, Damian?
He was, yeah. I've seen his wins. Obviously, he was one out of the box. He was a bit of a freak. I don't know if this story is 100% correct, but I've heard that the Friday morning before, they ripped him up in, 10 point something.
Yeah, right. He did.
Friday morning, they might have even pulled the whip on Iwata, was riding him track work, and they launched him at track work, and the media was like, what was going on there? And in the post track work press, he said, the horse was just doing too well. He thought he was on holiday, so we just had to remind him that he was here for the races. This is like a day before or 2 days before or something incredible, and still just come out.
Yeah. I think there was about seven or eight Group 1 winners in the race, and he put 5 on them.
Well,
unbelievable win.
And then Shane, Hutchi arrived into Australia starting to work for racing.com, and they said to him, hey, we've got this show where you rate your all-time best, and we're going to give you sprinters. Give us your all-time top 10. And Hutch thought, well, I'll make an impact here. And Black Caviar went number 2, and number 1 went Lord Cataloa, and everyone went,
yeah,
what is going on?
That doesn't surprise me, Richard.
They're very popular.
I would put Silent Witness ahead of Black Caviar every day of the week. Ooh. No risk, I would. I'd never say that Black Caviar would beat Silent Witness when he was at his peak.
I'm getting out of this conversation.
But she was a champion. She was outstanding. And no one's knocking her.
No.
But we only see her there, whereas when we're in Hong Kong, we're seeing other things and other horses. And Cataloa, on his days, as good as Black Caviar. Yeah. So I don't know how you can say he's not.
No, well, I didn't. I just Hutch just led with the chin and got whacked a few times.
I got reminded about it.
He was more than happy to.
I was going down the path of the 10 best performances I'd seen from sprinters.
Right.
Lord Cataloa was at the top, but I didn't see Black Caviar.
But no one's saying that Black Caviar wasn't a champion sprinter. She was. Look at her record. It's unbelievable. We're not knocking her.
No, she was perfect.
It's just like, it's just like you and me, Richo. You say who's the best looking, and I'm not offended when people say, I don't get offended, mate.
Hey, we've got a couple more races to get through here.
No, I think we want to talk about looks, and I love it. Hong Kong Mile, Frost. Let's have a look at... well, these are the Japanese trained entrants. You're not on one of those. You're on a Singapore horse who looks tested up against these ones.
Yeah, he's going to have to go to... Obviously, he's a very good horse in Singapore. He'd have to go to another level to win this. He ran in the sprint last year and wasn't up to that. So hopefully the mile suits him a little bit better. But out of the Japanese horses here, I've ridden Serifos, and he's a little bit special, this horse. When he won the mile championship in Japan last year, it was one of the more incredible wins you'll see. When things go right for him, he can reel off a massive finish and run home in some ridiculous sectionals. And last start in the mile championship, he was ridden by Yuga Kawada, who will ride him again, and he just had nothing go his way. He was up too close to the speed, he was wide working, and he still hit the front with...
and this is the race you're talking about?
This is the race I'm talking about, but he's just in the green cap hitting the front now.
Have you got to just ride him more patiently?
You've got to ride him patiently, and this was Yuga's first ride on him. So he'll be better for this ride on him. He hit the front way too early, put him into the race too early, and he's a horse that benefits from a run. So he'll go into this second up. So this race is a target race for him. Yeah. And I think you'll see a big performance if there's speed on. He can really rattle home.
Do you reckon he can test a Golden 60?
I think he can. Just because, his Golden 60's coming back as an 8-year-old now. He's first up into the race. If the race is run to suit, he is one of those horses that needs things to go his way. But if they do, he can reel off some really strong sectionals.
I was impressed, and talking about reeling off a sectional, that Namur, that was a big win.
That is something.
It was, and it gets better each time you watch it. Like she was last. She had to wait. I think
we'll have a look at it again. It's fantastic. Back last, so the horse that we highlight 3 horses here, but the horse that's last is the one that you want to talk about.
Yeah, so this is Namua. She's still second last year, isn't she? Yeah. She's run home in 33 flat from over the mile, and probably could have gone quicker looking at that. She's going sideways at the 150. And the way she ran through the line, this horse has just seemed to have come into her own as an older 4-year-old mare now. Her last 2 starts have been 2 wins. She looks like she's really grown into herself, and she could be another one that could test the waters.
What would your pick of all of those be there, or is it hard to say? It sounds like obviously Namur's in great form, but Serifos, you said, is pretty special too. Yeah,
Serifos and Namur, I think, are the 2 that could rattle the race. I mean, obviously the champ has been there and done it so many times, and Japan have brought good horses to the mile in previous years, so it's not the first time they've thrown good horses at him, and he's beaten them before. So, but I think if 2 can trouble him in this race, it'll be those 2.
Shane, I know you don't do the international form, but you know Golden 60 better than anyone. What are you expecting to see next Sunday?
Unless the Japanese horse turns up and wins Namur, who's looked very impressive, I think he's too good for the Hong Kong horses. He beats the Hong Kong horses.
And is he
he's done
trialled
a
well enough? And like mile, fresh, you've got no concerns about any of that, and the age, no concerns?
Yes, the age. You're going to come back to them sometime.
Yeah.
And it's normally around 7. He got away with it last year. Now, whether he can do another year, but the best thing about Golden 60 has been his trainer. Okay, he hasn't overtaxed him. He's looked after him. He hasn't travelled him. He's done everything possible to get that horse to be competitive at 8 years old. And he's done the same again this time. So it's going to be a great race, the mile. That's the one race I'm really looking forward to because we just don't know about him. And we know he's a champion and we want him to do it. So it's quite exciting to see him come out if he can do it. And what a training performance, if he does, it would be.
I don't know about the age angle either, Shane. They're telling me you're getting better with age.
That's a good point.
I don't know about that.
I can assure you I'm not getting faster as I'm getting older.
The next one's a race I'm looking for.
Yeah, well, it's Romantic Warrior in the Hong Kong Cup. It will be a short price favourite. And remember, James McDonald jumping off after winning a Cox Plate saying he needed that. Bring on the international meeting. He'll be at his absolute peak. Frost, what do we think of the Japanese horses?
Yeah, this is another Hong Kong champ versus the rest, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Japanese bring some strong horses here. Prognosis, I think, was stiff when he ran into him in the meeting in April. He was back. They crawled. He was charging to the line. If you
Zach feels he could have won that. Zach feels he could have won that.
If you watch the finish of that race, I mean, it's always hard to say because Romantic Warrior was just out in his own, a couple of lengths in front. But Prognosis charged through to the line. Then he went back to. This is Roshan Park here, so this is my amount. He is on the way up. He beat title holder here, who's a 3-time Group 1 winner. He also beat Win Marilyn in this race. He also beat another Group 1 winner there as well. So he's another one on an upward trajectory who I think will definitely get to Group 1 class, whether he's quite ready to beat the likes of Romantic Warrior, I'm not sure. I guess it'll depend on how he's travelled back from Australia. It's a big effort to come out to Australia, win a Cox Plate and then go back fresh into a Hong Kong Cup. And the other bloke, Prognosis, who I was talking about, went back to Japan, smashed him in Sapporo Kinen, really strong field, Group 2. He had a prep run in Japan for this race, which was against Equinox. He ran 3rd. I presume it was just a building block. This has been a target for them. So
this is the target for them?
This has been a target race for them for a long time because they sort of said, well, we don't think he's going to beat Equinox and Co, so we want to win a Group 1 with him and we think this will be the one to do it with. So I think, once again, the 2 Japanese horses here. HKIR was the other one. He's probably not been at his best in his last couple of runs. He's more than capable of running a good race as well, but if someone's going to knock him off, I'd expect it to be Roshan Park or Prognosis.
But you think that Prognosis is the hardest for you to beat?
Yes.
Right.
Yep. Well, him and the champ, obviously.
Yeah,
But Prognosis looks like, he's been targeted the race. He'll need speed in this race, but it looks like there will be this year. There's a couple there of the local gallopers to roll forward. I think that'll be the difference between this race and the race in April.
Fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's mouthwatering
There's
the way
a lot
you
of
describe
good
about the Japanese form. I can tell you're so entrenched in that form reference. And also, it's interesting, Tony McAvoy said to me about 8 years ago as a throwaway line about Group 1 form. Worldwide Group 1 form stands up wherever you go around the world. And we're seeing this, and that's what I love about the international meeting in Hong Kong, is we're getting to see the best of the best. That's why I get a little frustrated that we don't have the best Aussie horses there to mix it with them.
Yeah, of course. We'd love to see it, and we'd love to give the Aussie horses that opportunity to shine on the international stage. But like we said, the money in the carnival goes for so long now. It's not as big as maybe a bigger option as it once was, and even getting European horses is probably getting a little harder now as well. Yeah. Aiden always brings a strong team, so that helps. But it almost becomes almost Japan versus Hong Kong in some of these races. But it'd be great to get some Aussie horses there in the future. Yeah,
I think Shane, I know you're very close to Ryan Moore. I think Aiden's just bringing one for each of the races, targeting one runner in particular.
Yeah, he likes Hong Kong. It's the end of the season and he seems to keep a few after the Breeders' Cup to bring. He doesn't take any to Australia now, as you know. So he normally gets one winner out of the lot, and it's normally the Vars most years.
Yeah, and that's the race that he seems to have a big chance in, as always. Hey, Frost, mate, thanks for coming in. Good luck, and I'm really looking forward to saying this. We'll see you in Hong Kong, mate. What a star he is, Damian Lane, our star power guest.
150 to go, Sunline's a length in front. In Prawn Bliss, they come to the line. Sunline, the mare of the world, wins it.
Let's start chatting about the Longines International Jockey Championship on the Wednesday night at Happy Valley. You started to cast your eye over that?
I've had a quick look, Richard. There's a bit on the plate, but as last year, what we did with this series, which is over the 4 legs.
That's right.
You know, I sort of listed the top 4 in each leg. I think these will be the best rides. Now, we don't know barriers and that type of stuff. This is a race that's very competitive. I've got 4 horses here, but there's another 3 or 4 on this race where there's basically about a length between them. But
wow.
Kaholo Angel for Casper. Casper's targeted this meeting. He's got a lot of good chances in it. Tornado Phantom will run well. He gets back. Tomodachi Kokoro goes forward and leads. He's in pretty good form. Lucky Archangel's a winner. And like I said, there's 3 or 4 others in that leg that could easily win the race. So that's the most competitive of all of them that I've seen. But yeah, you wouldn't, as far as the jockeys are concerned, you could probably be on the 5th pick in a genuine winning chance.
Okay, so just repeating for the International Jockey Championship point of view, it's just randomly selected?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
but then the Jockey Club get involved to make sure that it's all, there's a fair and reasonable element to it?
No, I think they've changed it slightly in terms of trying to, you know, even it out, even the spread. Is that right, Shane, in terms of, you know, giving jockeys...
Yeah, they do. They level it out.
Which makes sense, hey?
Yeah, it's very fair now. It's very, very fair. It's a good way to go about it. Never used to be fair, but now it's fair.
There's also a Class 3 over extended mile trip of 1650 metres.
There is, and in this leg, well, the last start win of Quantum Patch was awesome, so he's going to be a great ride. Ivy League's in winning form this season. He was well ridden by DeMello recently and winning. He'll go okay. All Beauty's a bit of a place getter for me. He'll pick up points. This was a good run last start. Another one from Casper's Yard. He was just given too much to do the other day at Sha Tin. Flagship Warrior. But up to a mile, I think you might get a half decent price about him as well. If he draws a gate and doesn't have to get so far back, I think he's in with a good chance. But Quantum Patch will jump favourite in that race, and he'll be the ride that most jockeys want to get.
So write down those 4, and then we lead into 1,000 metres, rating 60 to 40 here.
Yeah, another one that's I thought this was pretty competitive too. There's 4 main chances. Superfast Dragon, eye-catching run. Jamie Richards looks like he's got a great chance with that horse. Harmony 5 for the informed Douglas White. Gorgeous Vitality will be there or thereabouts, needs a gate. Galvanic can run well. There's probably 2 others that are sort of in the mix, but yeah, those would be the principal chances. And if you can get on Superfast Dragon, you're going to be a very good chance.
And remember last year you did exactly this exercise and had great success. We get to the 4th leg.
Yep, last leg, and this is a little more thin for chances, I thought. But look, this is the best ride in the race. M Unicorn. Sure Joyful ran a cracking race last start and's ready to win one. I think Red Hair King will fly under the radar a bit, can go forward and run well. And Club Soda just having his 3rd career start for John Size will give a good account. But M Unicorn's going to start favourite in that race, I feel, over Sure Joyful, and those are the 2. Whoever can get those 2 rides is going to be a big chance.
Such a special atmosphere, Happy Valley on the Wednesday night for that Longines International Jockey Championship. Jockeys are desperate to be there, big prize money, atmosphere electric, it's a beauty.
Yeah, and you know, they must love competing against each other for this sort of prize as well. I mean, probably back 6-7 years ago, it used to get a bit rough and ready in some of these races.
Oh, I bet.
I think the stewards sort of had a few talks since then, and it was a little cleaner since then. But you just love to see them all competing.
Yeah, it's fantastic. All right, let's have a look at our black book, as we call it, Sweat in Defeat.
They're off, and Sugar Sugar missed the start by 4 lengths. Then Dublin Star, Sugar Sugar Fast Buck, Smart Leader. Oversubscribed, lunges at the post, missed. Sugar Sugar, that's a sweet win for Alfie Chan.
Sweat in Defeat, the Sid file, who jumps in?
There's a couple here. One was very unlucky last week in terms of just not being able to get a run. That was Master of Fortune. We'll have a look at that in a moment. Against the pattern of the day, Global Harmony, I said pre-race I liked him as a horse. I still do. I think he might be, he's going to be a triple-rated horse, I think, by the end of the season. I think he's definitely stakes class. The way he ran there, he ran home in 21.7 off a good speed against the bias. It was an enormous run and defeat. And I think How Deep Is Your Love during the week was a really good run. He was resuming after a fairly lengthy absence. He'll strip a little bit fitter. And second up, I think he'll be one to talk about. Here's Master of Fortune. Now, Zach sat back. There was no speed in this race. Cha Tin Glory. It didn't look like there was much speed on paper, so there wasn't really much he could do.
Just needed some room.
Well, on a horse he gets back as well, so he tried to go everywhere finding a run. Unfortunately, it didn't eventuate. But have a look at this last 100. He sees a little bit of daylight for a few strides, and I just thought he worked home really well late there, off a steady pace against the pattern of the day. And he's a horse for Pierre, who could easily go and win another one.
You mentioned how deep is your love. Can we throw a little G1 Goldmine lens over him?
Yeah, I think an interesting runner, because I wasn't sure what his best trip would be, but just having a look at the algorithms that the G1 Goldmine bring to the table, it seems like actually 1400 is going to be a sweet spot. Now, it needs to, you know, you can win so many at Happy Valley, but you've got to really come back to Sha Tin, and he has performed at Sha Tin, but I'm going to follow him when he goes to 1400 at Sha Tin. He's a nice horse. He's another one for that 4-year-old series. I think they'll probably get a classic mile run out of him. I wouldn't be, you know, following him all the way to the Derby. Of course, we profiled on Group 1 Goldmine Chilby last week, who was dominant on Wednesday. Again, gee, that was some win, Shane, wasn't it, from back in the field? It was one of the highlights, I think, and he's a pretty serious horse.
He looked really good. He got a great ride. I'll highlight it soon, but geez, he looks a nice horse, Clint. And there's no risk. He's Derby bound, that horse, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we did mention we're going to highlight it because he's going to be part of Genius or Slaughter. That's up next.
The end across, answering the urgings of Shane Dye. Mannerism coming at him. Mannerism has got it.
Daring tactics by Shane Dye. He's got Octagonal in full flight on the corner. Bold tactics by Shane Dye are going to pay off, and he pinches the Chipping Norton.
The Hall of Fame jockey in Raymond Shane Dye, the golden boy, cast his eye over all the rides in Hong Kong. And Shane, let's start in a positive. Who caught your eye?
Jerry did. I thought he rode extremely well the last 2 races. This is one. Chilby. This is a really good ride. Now, this horse is even money odds on favourite, more or less. And he goes back, which he always does. But at no stage of the race does he panic. And that's what I was very impressed. He never took off early. He let him come into his stride at the right time, at about just before the turn, and he just gave him a beautiful ride throughout the race. But Clint, this is a serious horse.
Yeah, he put up a good number to start prior. I should have trusted it more and had him short in the market. I got him wrong. I marked him about $4 and he won like a $1.50 chance. But
see here, Clint, most jockeys are going now because the last he's even money, but he hasn't moved on him. He's waiting and he hasn't used energy, and now on the point of the turn he comes out. And you watch how he quickens, and he kept them very balanced. And for a kid, this on a favourite like that, this is a really, really good ride.
You know what it told me though, Shane, was how much confidence he's got in this horse, because early in the race, and this is something small, but like he was almost off the bridle, he was just floating along, and Jerry rode him like he had a lot of confidence in him.
Now this is why outside gates are benefit on leaders. This is a really good ride. He digs them out of the gates. It's a leader's track and he knows that, and on paper there's only 2 leaders, him and Flaming Rabbit. Now you watch where he is. He stays out there. He stops digging him after about 30 metres, and he lets him cruise into a stride, and because he's got the outside, he can dictate. Now, this horse went from 16s to 6s because 2 reasons, the outside gate and it was a leader's track. This was just a perfect ride. He handled him really well, and I thought it was an outstanding ride.
Well, you put Dromberg Banner on the radar first up, and now he's gone back-to-back wins.
I've got to say this, Shane, you're spot on. I mean, one of the things that I use with my ratings, etc., is like a bit of a sort of finishing speed efficiency. So there's a formula, mathematical formula that I know some guys at Timeform use, and you know, there's an efficient way to run your race. Dromberg Banner by Etseni there, 100%, so he got it bang on target. He was rated to perfection.
It was an outstanding ride, and then he rode the last race well too, and I give up or whatever, whatever it's called. It ran well. And also, Jerry on Sunpak Fu was an outstanding ride. He won the race at about the 900 metres when James McDonald pushed out and come out, and he lost a length and come back and went in. And by doing that, you know, Clint, the horse has had 17 starts, Sunpak Fu. He's ridden it every time.
Yep. He knows the horse so well.
And he knows him, and he rides him so well. So good on him.
And as a result, from an idol point of view, there was some big positive votes coming for Jerry. You've already touched on that.
He got 3, and I gave Drumber Banner 2, that was really good.
Andre Edzeni. But then I do notice that Teton has been deducted too. Can you show us why?
Got it. Okay, this was a shocker, Heroic Master. Why? If you do form in the race, there's only one horse that can lead in this race. It's not a normal. You don't have to dig him out of the gates like this. And I don't know, Clint, what is wrong with third fence?
I don't know.
Why can't you be third fence? You're on the C track. They fan wide. This isn't James McDonald's fault for the horse 3 wide. This is Karras'. He just set it up. Zach must have been laughing back. The race was over here. None of those front 3 could win once he did that. So I would have come out of the gate. You didn't need to dig him. You know there's only one leader. It's not a normal 1,000-metre race. You're going to sit third fence. You're on a $2.30 chance. Ride him like that.
Yeah, I was surprised he sort of kicked up to hold Explosive Witness out. I think Heroic Master's won being ridden sort of box eating or just tucked in behind. And
he's not a leader, Clint. He races off the pace.
Yeah, so anyway, set up nicely for Zach. Like you said, he would have been giggling, saying thanks for coming. See you later.
So, and Karras got another one wrong.
Look, I know the trainer told him to go forward, but when they're going along, you cannot go forward. Like, this is ridiculous. Why do you think the horse running last won when he's a dead set stage? You know how fast they come home here? 25 seconds. It's probably the slowest in the last year in Hong Kong because they were going along from the time they jumped. And then he took off mid-race when he didn't need to. I know the trainer told him he had to, but oh my God, trainers, you cannot follow them a lot of the time, and it's driving me mad. There was another race, Clint, on the weekend. Young, what was it called? Young Horizon. Fun and Together won the race.
Yeah.
Like, there's no pace in the race. He's the only leader. It's a leader's track, and he was told to ride him off the pace, and it destroyed the race. Fun and Together come across, led one, and he said he wanted to ride him quiet because last start he didn't finish off when he was ridden up there. The previous start they run a 21.5 or something. It's a different race. Every race is different, and you can't go out there with set instructions like this. It's just wrong.
Well, we've seen it a lot.
That was a shocker.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of these 2,200-metre races. They've just got into the habit, and I'll put something out on the social media about, they're kind of mindless and they're thoughtless. I mean, the jockeys are following that to instructors. I get that, but as we hear on occasions, sometimes if they've gone too quick, you just got to say, look, I can't make that move now. I'm going to destroy myself. So I understand and I'm feeling what the jockeys do because they don't want to lose the ride. They want to do the right thing by the stable, but they've probably got to say something to the trainers pre-race, like, look.
I'll tell you something though, Clint. I'll tell you something with that. Superstar jockeys don't care if they lose the ride. That's the difference.
Yeah.
They're a superstar because they know they've done the right thing at the right time. And they say, well, take me off. I don't care. Simple as that. I did the right thing on that horse at the right time. And after the race, the trainer should realise that you have. Like, look at that one. You know what the winner, what's he called? Wonder Years?
Wonder Years, yeah.
He's just a 2,200-metre dead set stayer, and that race panned out for him, and he got his birthday.
He'd go right in the Jericho this weekend, that horse.
Let's have a look at the leaderboard for racing's highest honour, the one that all the jockeys are trying to win. The trophy takes your breath away.
Yeah.
It's the Idol.
Be travelling to Hong Kong too,
Now, damn straight it will.
A lot of the jockeys, they want to see it. They want to touch it.
And also, it's booked its own seat.
Yeah.
That's how precious this trophy is. 13 points, Zach Purton leads over Huey by 2. Jerry Chow's a big mover. Andre Edzeni as well. Teton. Oh, that'll hurt him because he's got ambitions towards the Idol. The Idol is in seat 1A on the way over on Tuesday.
And Richard, he was going really good. I put him up best rides 2 weeks in a row, I think. And he was riding Galaxy Patch, a great ride, and then something on a 1,000-metre race, Fortune Warrior, I think it was, or something like that was a great ride. And he's riding winners. But just two in a row he got wrong.
Well, he had to cop a little clip, and he certainly has. Hey, let's add a little extra class to this show. Inside Running with Nicole Purton.
This morning, I'm at the Happy Valley Turf Trials, a gathering that's not just important for the experience and training of thoroughbreds, but also for providing the next generation of horse lovers access to the sport's equine and human heroes. Hong Kong law means that there are very few opportunities for anyone under the age of 18 to enter a racecourse. But given there's no betting at these trials, of course, the Jockey Club take the opportunity to make the Valley family friendly. So guys, what's your favourite animal? Horse. Oh, luckily you said horse, otherwise these ponies would have been a bit offended. Who's everybody's favourite jockey? Okay, Cash, who's yours? What about you, Miley? Who's your favourite jockey? Daddy! Oh, this is going to be a tough one, Hunter. Who's yours?
Paris.
All right, we're fair all around. So has anybody got a favourite horse? What about you, Cashy? Oh, I thought you were going to say Connor.
It's Lucky Sweyness. There's speed. There's Sweyness speed. And Lucky Sweyness by 4. Zach Purton, Manfred man.
Lucky Sweyness. My favourite is probably my dad. She's having a foal.
What's her name?
I think it's called Lady Sunrise.
Oh, that's a beautiful name. Do you know if she's having a baby girl or a baby boy? Oh, it's going to be a surprise. Mia, which one out of these two would you want to ride?
I'll ride this one.
That one's very cute, isn't it? Did you watch Daddy do the trials?
Yes.
How did he go? Were they nice and fast?
Yes.
How do you think these two would go in a trial?
A wonderful story from Nicole Purton. Isn't it great to see the next generation of racing fans developed, engaged, and hopefully they will be sitting in these chairs into the future.
Yes, in the years to come.
Or on a horse, or just involved in the industry one way or another. Let's find some winners on Sunday at Sha Tin. We'll pick out 3 races for you to dissect, Hutch, for Sunday racing at Sha Tin. Can we start with race 6?
Race 6, the Peninsula Golden Jubilee Cup. I think this is a really good race, and I'm looking forward to Youthful Deal getting back onto the dirt, 1200. This is his go. He failed over the mile. I thought there were excuses for him there. I could mark him a little shorter. This is my early rated price, 250 basically. I think Kerfany leads. He'll run a nice race. Flying Ace. Surprised to see him on the surface. But he is ready to win one, $10, and then Charging Prince is a dirt specialist, but not really the 1200. This is what Youthful Deal can do, Shane. 1200 is his sweet spot. He's had a run now. Gee, I think if he's anywhere near this sort of form, he'll be hard to beat.
He's going to be very hard to beat, but there's a lot of pace in this race, and they're going to go pretty quick. There's 3 or 4 that can lead, and I reckon, I know he's on the dirt. You'd be confident if it was the grass, but Flying Ace, I think he can get home here in this.
Yeah,
if they go too fast, and it all depends how the track's racing. If it's a leader's dirt, well, he can't win. But if it's a fair dirt, I think he's got a great chance. But yes, is Youthful Deal going as well as last season, Clint?
That's the question for everyone. Look, I thought his mile run was okay. I mean, Frankie Law ran him there because there really wasn't much else around, and I think he was still going to figure in the finish. He just ran into a bit of traffic. I like the fact there's speed in this race. I like the fact they'll roll along at a good tempo. He can stalk the pace. He'll sit off them. And what he's doing is quickening off it. But you might be right. There is that niggling thing in the back of the head saying, well, how well are you going? Because, Shane, we're having to judge him out of races that haven't been suitable for him, either on the turf or a dirt mile.
There was nothing wrong with his mile run. He missed the start, had to be used, and as you said, didn't get a clear run in the straight. So his run in the mile was okay.
And just to back up what you said about Flying Ace, Shane, like he ran about 3/4 of a length off the rating of a Lucky Sweyness. That race was on the same day as the best sprinters around. That race rated very well. I think they can improve Lucky Sweyness and co, but it shows you where Flying Ace is at. He did that with more weight.
Well, there's 2 things with Flying Ace. One, there's only 10 runners. 10 runners to 12 runners. I know it doesn't sound much, but it's a big difference. Also, as I stated before, the pace in the race. They're going to go here. Like you got Capillon, you got a heap of them there. You know, like Exponential, the bottom one.
Kerfany's going to go fast.
Kerfany's going to go. You know, and you are correct. He's going to get a beautiful run. Youthful Deal, so he gets his chance. You'll know where he is after the race, whether he's going well or not, because if he reproduces that run from last year that you showed when he just blitzed them, he wins. I've got no doubt about that, but I don't know whether he's quite going as well as he was.
We fast track to race number 9. Zach Purton jumps on Meet for Johnny Size.
Yeah, we put this in the sweet in defeat file following his debut. I may mark him shorter as well. And I may mark the top 3 a little shorter. Some of the peripherals I've got to push out a little bit because it's a race that really lacks depth. Meet was an eye catcher. I think he would have nearly beaten I Give had he stepped better and got a better,
got in a better spot.
Sweeter run, yeah, mid-race. Attacked the line well. Holy Lake's in winning form. Carrying Cheers back down in grade, but a progressive horse. But this will be one of the shorter price runners of the day. Meet. Shane, on this occasion, he was in the stalls a long time. There was a delay setting them off. It was his first start. He missed it probably half a length to length. But then he couldn't build mid-race when I Give was getting his own way. And I thought he did a really good job to get as close as he did at the finish.
Did a very good job. And also, you got to remember that I Give has come out and reproduced that form, of course. He's had a trial since his last run. It wasn't great, but Johns don't have to trial well to produce them. You haven't mentioned one horse there that's going to be extremely hard to beat in this, if the track is like it was last week, and that's Riverview's. If he gets that lead and gets a soft lead with 114 pounds on his back, geez, he's going to be hard to run down here. But that's only if the track's like it was last week and it's a leader's track. And then it depends a matter of how much the toppy wants to push him early on. Keying Chair from gate 12, whether he pressures him. If he pressures Riverview, well, both of them won't be winning. Of course, Beep will be winning, but he's going to be a short price favourite. Clint, he looks a nice horse and he's going to be very, very hard to beat. But I'm just throwing the other one out there. If the track is like it was last week.
Yeah, he's easy. I probably should have him a little shorter, but you know, his last run didn't rate huge, and then I feel that he's still got a little bit to find, young lad on him, but you're right, that claim does make him dangerously weighted.
So therefore, Hutchi's Honkers, check him out because Hutch at all times keeps fine-tuning his prices there, so make sure you subscribe and he'll steer you into a winner. And then we get to the lucky last, Zach Purton on Pins Prince. Can you finish in style?
Well, you hope so. This is a good race to finish. I mean, there's a horse like Never Too Soon in it that's bidding for 3 in a row. Blue Marlin's had a great season. He's the one I'm going with. I think J-Mac's got a good ride here with Blue Marlin. He'll need a touch of luck from the wider gate. But once again, I think he gets into a reasonable spot. Massive Action will roll forward. Never Too Soon's racing well. Golden Samurai's awkwardly drawn as well. So this race is a tricky map. But I think he comes out of the right form reference, Blue Marlin. On this occasion, he sort of got back into an awkward spot, Shane. I thought he still ran well. We've mentioned Drombag Benner. He's won again. There's good form. Green and White's a decent horse. So this is the right form. I thought he was one of the better runs in this particular race we're looking at.
Oh, definitely. And, of course, he won his 2 previous starts. He has got an awkward gate, no doubt.
J-Mac.
Massive Action will lead.
Yeah.
From gate 2, but he's probably on his mark now. But he still gives a sight, and he's going to give a sight. I don't think it's an overly strong race, and most of the chances, like Blue Marlin and Never Too Soon, and there was another one there, Golden Samurai, they've all drawn wide. Yeah. So he doesn't have to get as far back, that horse, you know, Clint. No. He could race closer if they wanted, Blue Marlin.
Well, when Harry Bentley won on him 2 back, he was effectively 1-1 in the run. So I think there's enough speed there. I'm hoping J-Mac's a bit positive out of the gates and can find a nice position for Blue Marlin and keep the momentum with Douglas White going because he's having a good season and I think he's got a great chance there with Blue Marlin.
Best bets time, mate.
Best bets, yeah.
What are you thinking?
I'm happy to sort of stick with the proven form. I think Meep's got a great chance. I think there aren't too many chances in the race. I think Youthful Deal will be a good win bet, but he needs to get around our price. Like I said, I may shorten him a fraction, but I'm not sure where the market will be with him, as Shane highlighted a couple of queries. Like, is he going as well? So we might be able to get our price. We'll have to wait and see. But I reckon around that 250 mark at this point in time is about right. But Meep's going to be very short. I think around even money will back him, and I'll take the Quinella. I think there's only the 2 dangers. Holy Lake is one of those, and Kar-Ying Chair. So I think it's one of the more confident bets of the day. Meep, give him strength. We'll need it. We had a rather lacklustre Wednesday, but last Sunday was good.
That's right. Yeah. Don't worry. We're entitled to the odd lacklustre evening. Golden Boy, what are you thinking?
I'll go race 5, Greenwich. Gate 1, he'll jump. He'll probably box seat behind Sparkling Dolphin wasn't in the race. Greenwich is unbeatable, but unfortunately, Sparkling Dolphin is, and he's a 1,000-metre horse who's going to stop. But he could take him on. But he's racing well in Class 3, goes to the dirt for the first time. Zach, Gate 1, not that gates matter on the dirt. It's irrelevant, I think. But he's going to get the right run. He's going to be hard to beat. And also, Zach's on one in race 4, a first starter, which goes well. King Ying Rising.
Ying Rising, horse number 6.
Yeah, it goes well. And it's not a strong race, that. There's the Toppy Telecom Dragons racing well and won last start. He'll be hard to beat, but I would expect King Ying Rising to go well. He's had 5 trials, I think, if I remember correctly, and he'll run a race for sure.
Did he just say that Greenwich was... Did he basically use the moral word?
It was very close.
It was awfully close to
it. He was. Greenwich was unbeatable in that race.
Actually, unbeatable.
If Sparkling Dolphin wasn't in. Because he would have just got... Sparkling Dolphin can ruin the race for him.
Shane doesn't believe in, like, Shane, we believe in, like, you don't call things morals but that wouldn't come in, that wouldn't worry you. You're confident, you declare them, you're like, nah, this will be winning. You're happy to roll with it.
I don't declare them often, boys, but when I do, they win.
There you go.
But you don't hear me declare one often.
Oh, you certainly don't. Hey, the great news for all of the Triple Trio and Hutchie's Honkers fans is we're going to be on the ground in Hong Kong providing you with a whole stack of content. So jump on the website, make sure you're connected to our social media platforms, and we'll be showing you a lot of the behind the scenes in Hong Kong.
Yep, and even on 7plus if you're in Australia.
Beautiful.
The app will do that. How good was Damian Lane, by the way?
Absolutely brilliant. Shane,
I was about to say, well done, boys, for getting him. He wasn't good. He was sensational.
He certainly was.
He was outstanding.
I look forward to seeing you in the flesh when you arrive in Hong Kong.
Yep.
I'll be there with the rose petals at your feet when you arrive.
Thanks, mate. I think I get there before you.
Okay, can you get rose petals for me then?
Yeah,
no chance. He gets there Tuesday. We'll see him Thursday.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks so much, everyone, for watching the show, and make sure you tune in 7plus, as Hutchie mentioned, or all of the platforms for comprehensive coverage of a great week in racing in Hong Kong, and good luck on Sunday.